Might have flipped the thing upside down. I've got to undo these nuts here. All this, as far as I know, I'm just figuring out as I go. These nuts along here, get that bracket out of the way. Take the bottom of the crankcase off. That'll give me access to the main bearings and the cap, so I can lift that out. The crank and the pistons, the rods, they all come out together. I think they're fairly heavy, so I'll be able to lift it, but yeah, putting them back in's a trick, because it all goes in together. Yeah, worry about that when the time comes. Starting to come up. There's nothing really to get it on this side. I've just got to try and lever it up as I go without damaging anything. It's a two-hand job. I'd rather do it. I'll film it once it's off. I've got that off, no problem. I'm not 100% sure what that thing is. Or I might even have to take it off, but we'll see. I know that pulley thing goes there, and it must have something to do with that, because it's got these things inside, it springs and little rollers. It's got something to do with that. I don't know really what it is, but I'll probably find out eventually. This chain's not coming off unless I take this part in here out. Let's grab the light. That little pulley there, somehow I've got to figure out how that comes out. I don't know what that is there either. See if I can film it. Little thing in here. I don't know what that is. Some little oil injector or something. Might blow a bit of oil to the chain. Anyway, I suppose we'll find out one day. Overall, it's not too bad. There's still a bit of sludge here. There's a washer there. I don't know how that got there. Little washer sitting there. Anyway, who knows? You know, undo those main caps, that can come out. All the pistons, everything will come out in one. This piece here, I've taken all the what I can find off it, and I'll throw that in the parts washer. You can just sit in there for a bit. Well, there's that. It's got three main caps, main bearing caps. That's the rear one. You really can't mix that up. It's got a big hole here. It's the front one. It's got a small hole, so we can't mix them up. This center one, it could go that way, or it could go that way. So I really want to make sure it goes back on the way it came off. So this is the left side of the engine here. I'll double check that. I'm going to put a little L there. I'm going to stamp a little L there so I know this is the left side. And I'll probably put an R there, but I don't really need that. I just need to put an L on one side or an R on the other side. So I'll just get a punch and letter punch and do that. They've butchered these nuts, but I've got this special kit thing that I bought, and it just got it straight off. This one and this one, they're straight off. But these top two, I'm just not sure what to do. I'm just going to have a look at these nuts and see what they're like, and whether I think I might replace them. Just need to get 4 new of these. Anyway, I'll think about how I'm going to get these two out. I'm probably going to have to weld something there, but they still need a bit of an impact to get them to go. This thing's worth its weight in gold. I've just got the little grinder, the thin thing on it. Drilled a slot there, ground a slot there and a slot there. Belted it with this thing. Straight off, both of them. With the slot. Someone's been mucking around trying to get that off, and they've given up. So I'll put new bolts on that. I want to fix all the threads, everything on this motor. That's why I couldn't leave that like that. This kit here I got in Sydney. It's a bloody awesome kit. I got that for nothing. I can't even remember what it was, but it's never been used. I've never struck a nut or screw that I can't get off with it. Now that's gold. I had this set up, I was going to weld something on that, and just thought I'd try that, and it saved me a lot of hassle. Well, I don't worry about getting these mixed up, the main caps, because it's all one piece. That thing didn't want to come out. Well, I got it out, but it looks like it's going to need pistons and boring. So I've measured the bore. It's 55.37 millimeters. I don't know if you can see that scoring, if it's coming up in the camera, but this number 1 cylinder here, it's got a lot of scoring in it. I'll see if I can try and get the light right and you can see it, but this torch is a bit bright. You can sort of pick it up there. That's the worst one. You can just see that scoring, but it is hard to film it. They've all got a little bit, but if that's already been bored, like 55.37, they're all the same. And the other torch doesn't want to work. As long as we can bore it, we'll be fine. I can get bigger pistons. I can get 60 thou oversized pistons. And they're actually, I can get a good deal on them at the moment too. Anyway, I'll just go up and see if I can find out what the standard bore is. I've got a feeling it's 54.5. I hope not, because that'll mean this is already over. I've just got to find out what the go is with the sizes here. Remember to put these things back, the little thing here, a couple of these. I'm not sure what that is. A little oil injector or something, maybe for the chain. I've been trying to figure out how to lift these up, but we've found that there's a threaded hole here. There's one in there. Same on this side, so I'm just running a tap in there, and I'm going to screw these two things, screws, bolts, whatever you call them, down into there and see if it'll lift it up. You can see it started to lift. I'll try this side. Looks like it's coming up. Yep, it's definitely coming up. Try this side a bit. Yep, that's how you get them out alright. Once it breaks free, it should just come up. I've run out of thread now. Might have to get some longer bolts. Take these off. And that's how you get them out. Come straight up like butter. That's what we've discovered. They're separate. I didn't know that at all. So we'll just leave that sit like that because I don't want to mix these up. What do you reckon? It wouldn't come up this side because we managed to get this stud out, which is another bonus because that's got to be fixed properly. And now it's coming up. So happy days. Well, we've got that all apart now. I couldn't find any markings, so I really just want to put these back in the same hole. So I've just put 3 little grind marks on the inside of that liner. This one's got 2, and that one's got 1. So I know that one you can't, the 2 end ones you can't muck up. The 2 centre ones are the same. So it probably doesn't matter. But that you can see why they have a problem sealing the heads on these cars. They're all separate. They're all separate. So how can you get that flat and seal the head? Anyway, we'll see. We'll figure something out. We'll get it the way. We'll get it as good as we probably be able to get it, I suppose. But there's nothing stopping me from boring that in the lathe. I can just bung that in the lathe. The trick is getting them in exactly the same size. So we'll see. I'll probably still take it to a machinist and get it done on a mill. They're going to get soaked in acid and cleaned. This stuff will just get washed. We've got most of the stuff out of it. They'll just, cleaned up with something. The outsides, I still want to Aqua Blast. I'll have to get onto the head next. But this is all fully apart except for this pulley here and that pulley there. I can undo that screw and pull that out, but there's probably springs and stuff going to go flying, so I may leave it there. We'll see what happens. But that I want to pull off. I've just got to see if I can find something how that comes off. Anyway, we'll see. I'm thinking of soaking these in acid for a bit with water. I'll just mix that up and I'll put one in and see how it goes. But it won't affect it. I want to get rid of all this rust and stuff. We'll clean them up. One of these spark plug holes was no good. I could get it in and out, but I'm just running this tap through here to clean the threads up. I think the rest of them are okay. Even though that one there's got a little mark on it, I'll just grab a screwdriver. And there's got a little bit of a cut out there. I don't know why. I'll have to have a look at that. Yep, that spark plug winds in there nice now. I wind it in with my fingers. That's what you wind with spark plugs. You always wind them in with your fingers first, so you don't strip them. Now it's got a nice thread there. I'm going to do the other three. Figured out how to get this pulley off. That thing there just pulls out. You just pull it. You know, that's lucky you got the cam chain off. I'll just wrap that stuff up and put it away. This other pulley here, I might take it off, but I'm not going to take it off at the moment. I'm just going to clean this stuff up now. I've cleaned all that out. This is cleaned, this thing, but someone's painted it at some stage, so got to get all that off. Most of it's fallen off. Haven't done the head yet. I've got to get some more solvent for my parts washer. Just not quite deep enough. Anyway, that's ready to get aqua blasted, this and that. Get the head done next. I've got this stuff soaking in here overnight. It's already starting to go green. It'll just get all rust and stuff off that. Anything else? But I want to take them up to that guy tomorrow and just see what he thinks about that. What size, how far over they you think say it would be. Right, what I'm going to do here, this stud broken off in there. I want to weld this little nut on there and just see if I can get it off. I've got the nut welded on there. We'll see if it's going to go. Moving a little bit, something's happening. Yep, straight off. That's what I like to see. One down. I don't know, there's more to do. And that's coming straight off. I'll just clean it up with a wide brush. It's not a bad trick if you ever got to do that. Just get something with a hole in it, preferably a nut. Just weld it to it. There, that's coming straight up. There it is there. Straight off. There's a few more to do. I'll get around to them. Actually, I might not even throw that out. You can use that for something. If I even need a real low profile bolt, I'll just keep that. I'll give you a bit of an update on what's happening with this motor now. They're all been cleaned up, everything. I've got them, they look a bit dirty, but they're actually clean. I've put Linox all over them so they don't rust. I went up yesterday to the engine rebuilders, not just people that assemble engines, you know, a proper engineer. He's actually a friend of mine. He owns Gold Coast Engine Rebuilders, Guy. And we're speaking about, you know, I want to talk to him, what's the best thing to do? Can we save this engine? Because it had hardly any compression. So I took these up and we measured them. I measured them myself. Like standard bore, or the standard piston size for this motor is 54.5 millimeters, right? And we measured this bore here, and they're a lot more than that. So he wanted to know what the pistons were, so I had to go back up there today. The pistons are actually 55 even, so they're half a millimeter thicker. They're half a millimeter bigger than stock. So I thought, oh cool, we've got plenty of meat. I could have just, you know, taken them 20, 30 thou over, but turns out these are not the same size. Some of them are different. So we're going to have to bore them all the same size, and the only way we can do it is get all the scratches out of this number one, make them all the same size. We've got to go at 60 thou. So I've got to buy the pistons 60 thou over. We've got to bore these out. Some of them only have to be bored out 15 thou, some have to be bored out, you know, more, 25, whatever. But I can't do that until the end of September. He's going away. So I'll take it up there at the end of September. We'll, I might be able to film a bit of it getting done, getting bored. I'm hoping so. But yeah, that's the update on the motor anyway. Some of these things have a little bit of wear in around these edges, which I don't really like the look of. This one's not too bad, it's just a bit of pitting. And I'm thinking of brazing that up. I've sanded them with the orbital sander. Let's see which one. You can see just some of that one's not too bad. Which was the bad one? That one there's a bit ugly. I just want to make sure they seal, because these are notorious for leaking and you need head gasket problems and all sorts of stuff with these little engines. Because of that, you know, you got to get your head level on that. I'm even sort of thinking of getting a copper head gasket. We'll see what happens anyway. Anyway, that's part 2 of this engine. I'll slap it on a video, and I've got to get, what else have I got to do? I'm going to get stuck into that chassis, get that stripped down, and get that thing up to the powder coaters, and so we can start putting that back together. I think that's about it for now. I've also got to work on the head. So the head will be getting done, and the chassis. But this motor will be getting put together in October, it's looking like. Anyway, thanks for watching that.